Hi and welcome to Nasco Bay Speed Shop. We're doing the Jive talking for FJ Holdens for episode number 5. And today we're going to talk about the steering lock, the thermometer, and also the 1950s air conditioning brand, the Wybrock fan. So interestingly enough, there's been people stealing cars since the end of time. I've had a car stolen, and it would have been nice to have some anti-theft devices on it to try and make it more difficult at the time. However, I didn't. However, for an FJ Holden, I had one of these new old stock for my ute, and I was able to get another one for this build. It's just a glorified padlock actually, and when we look in the Holden Master Parts catalogue, the black edition, we'll just check on number 21 that it's got up here, and 21 talks about a lock steering. Now, lock steering, very simply, in the accessories list designed for Holden, it just says for steering is M for Mary 30566, and there's a window lock one as well, something very much like this. Window locks for Holden, and the window is M30789. Now, the beauty of the padlock was it's really simple to operate. Anyone can do it, lady or a man, young person, whatever is the case. And it's a matter of just sort of either keeping the lock in the glove box or on the parcel shelf. And when you're parking the car, opening the lock. Now, you would put it through the gear shift, so that goes through the rod of the gear shift, and then so you've got the gear shift and the steering wheel going through both, and then it's a matter of just locking them up, taking the keys, and you're on your way. So this would go through, the arm of the steering wheel when you're driving on the left hand side, and so that would lock up, fitting around your steering wheel, and the rod of the gear shift, and then the gear lever, and then just lock it up and you're away. So that car would be as safe as it could be at that point. Another handy hint, if in doubt, you're leaving your car at the train station or something like that, you can always take your rotor button out. So you can't start a car without a rotor button. So when somebody just has to have a rotor button for an FJ Holden or for the grey motor, so very very difficult thing to be able to do, to start a car without a rotor button. As far as also anti-theft devices concerned, for your FJ, I've also seen recently a little implement made out of metal. It's sort of where the brake and the clutch pedals push down into the floor. Well, there was holes drilled into those shafts behind the pedal, and then basically a sheet wrap of metal went around them with a hole, so the hole was the same through each of them, and it went down to a floor, and it sort of spread as a stopper, and then the padlocks went through all those 4 holes, so it was making that stopper shroud not allow the pedals to be depressed. And I thought that's a really clever idea. I hadn't ever seen that before, but I thought it was an excellent idea to share with people, just to make sure that their Holden, their pride and joy, is a little bit more protected if you're interested in doing something like that. So I thought that was a great idea. Now, one of the other things that I wanted to talk about is something you don't see very, very often on cars, and that's the thermometer. Now, with your modern day Commodore and Falcon and the Hyundai, it's part of everyday motoring where you're driving down the road and you can see the time. It's on the dash, on the display, and also the outside temperature. And that's considered normal. However, back in the day when you had an FJ or any of those other cars all the way through till later models, there was no way of finding out what the temperature was outside. so it was a case of with FJs and the FXs, and this could be used for any of the other models. They would have something very similar to this, but it was this big. So in this instance, this is a green example. I've got a green and a white, and as you can see, there's a hole in the back. Well, that's where the suction cup goes into, and then it's given a bit of a leak and then pushed onto the dash. And I used to keep mine with my utility up near the radio, and it would just sit there and give me an idea about what the atmospheric temperature was. Now one thing is, though, it's all in Fahrenheit. Now I'm a baby boomer, so I only really understand Celsius and centigrade. So Fahrenheit hasn't been my strong point, but rare, nice thing to have, interesting on your car. So I'd like to leave you with that thought. So that's the thermometer. As you can see, it was a Nasco product that was revised in April 1953. So very much in the FJ era. Part number M30477. Now, I've come across 4 of these since 1981, and it's probably a good thing for the Australian temperature at the time that these were available. I've only found 4 that were 6 volt. Many more 12 volt cars built than 6 volt, of course. Whereas Holden only built the FX and the FJ as 6 volt motor cars. But this is a product made by Wybrock, who made many things for Holdens as far as interior accessories and things like that were concerned. But this is a nice little accessory within itself. Look, with Holden being Australia's own car, the climate conditions here can be very hot in summer. This is when this type of accessory would come into its own. The FJ wasn't so bad as far as, you could wind down the windows if you had venties, which are a little plastic scoop accessory that you could have on the quarter glasses, and you would point the quarter glasses toward the cabin, and the venties would scoop the air but direct it to the bottom of the floor. That, coupled with the cowl vent, there would be a lever on the dash, and you push that, and it basically moves a cowl to come up from being in a flat panel position to a more upright position to scoop air into the front of the cabin. So that, the cowl vent, the venties, and if you had weather shields or weather shades, for instance, that you could actually get, and together with a sun visor, they're all things that contributed to making driving and riding in the cabin a lot easier than it would have ordinarily been. Now, with this Wybrock appliance, it's pretty simple. 6 volt motor, little bunch of attachments, I should really say. Now they would just give you the wires, a push-pull switch that can be mounted up underneath the dash. So you can see it's pretty straightforward. And also, and for this it was a case of mounting it on the dash and directing it at it wasn't a rotating type of fan. It was point and spin. So the fan blades itself is very much a harmless soft plastic. My ute was a green, and the car itself was calamine blue, so it was a bluey green colour. Whereas this build, the car I've got is ocean mist green. Excuse me, I just forgot my own colour there for a moment. So blue's a little bit out of place, but in view of the fact that I've got nothing else at the moment, blue's going to have to do. But anyway, so I would actually point this at my wife when we were driving in the FJ. and she would have a bit of a chuckle, because she was used to vehicles with air conditioning, all those sort of things, instead of a silly bomby old Holden. However, the combination of all of those things do the job in actually trying to keep the cabin cool and add a little bit of nostalgia to the car as well. Accessories brighten up the vehicle and also provide comfort, styling, and making the driving and riding experience that much better. So that just gives you 3 more accessories and a quick hit of other things that you could get back in the day for your FX or FJ Holden. So I hope you liked our little bit of Jive talking today. So this has been Jules Knight from the Nasco Bay Speed Shop. I hope that you're going to give us the thumbs up and press the like button and subscribe to our clips. And when we come out with the next one and something new, we'll be able to keep our subscribers tuned. Anyway, you have a good day and we'll see you next time. Thank you.